Hey, it's your boy T-Lo Mac coming at you with another video, and you know what? I think we forgot something. It's your boy Chusky the Tuscan Raider, and we're back at it with another video. So if you like what you're seeing, make sure you hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, and let's get back to it. All right, peace. All right, guys, so what we're going to be talking about in this video is going to be offensive, defensive teams, and also some flex teams I like throwing on offense and defense. But we're going to explain why I like doing that and what circumstances I like doing that. But first things first, we're going to talk about defense, because defense wins championships, and it's no different in SWGOH. It's the same thing. If you want to win GAC, got to have a solid defense. All right, so these are going to be my defensive teams that I recommend for you guys. Obviously, it's going to be JMK. JMK is the best team in the game. S tier, easy. I think later on this week, we're going to do some tier lists. I'm going to see if maybe we get some other content creators to hop on with me. I think it'll be a fun time. But definitely JMK is the top dog. No team is next to him. That's why I put him on defense. Things I like doing with him to kind of prevent the non-GL counters is like a thick cat. So you're gonna see my cat right here. She is kind of slow, but she is at 102k health. So she's the thick girl. Obviously there's people out there with way thicker cats, but she's also at 317 and she's only at R5. I do not have an R7 cat. That would boost up her health big time right there if I did. Another thing that I like doing to kind of not let them bust out bounty hunters and gas is my Padme. My Padme is running speed mods, which is a little weird. Broken set right there, not the best, but it did allow me to get to 320. 320 is the key right there. You want to have her go faster than the Mando. If she can outspeed Mando on that counter, the counter's broken. It's not going to work. So she's the lynch point to that off-meta counter and that off-meta 2-shot. So you want to make sure that she's speedy, she's thick. That way JMK makes it a little bit harder, and then the rest of them just do basic stuff, do what they got to do. Also, Mace Windu's on the squad. I do not have GK. I do switch every once in a while. Sometimes I put GK up there. Sometimes I put Mace Windu. But for the majority of the time, I like going Mace Windu because a lot of times my opponents end up going with a mirror match, and Mace is going to die off the rip. And if they do that, it is what it is. I'm okay with it. Next up, we got Rey. Rey is going to be my next defensive staple team, and I usually put this team up. Been switching it up. Sometimes I put JTR in there instead of R2, and then sometimes BB8 instead of Hodo. I've been switching it up depending on the matchups. Sometimes I'll go with Rey, a JTR squad with BB8, with the old boys, the vets. And I gotta say, this squad's nasty too. It's not as good as the Resistance Hero squad, not even close, but it does get some holds every once in a while and can strip banners, especially having the vets in there. They take that bonus turn if you're going straight after JTR. If not, they're going to hit you with AoEs from Vet Han, and then BB-8 is going to kind of give them that speed up, the cooldowns, and it's just a solid overall team. All right, and next up, we're going to be talking about offense. And offense, I got some squads for you. First squad is going to be Jedi. Jedi right here is my Revan squad with JKL. I love this squad so much because it cleans up so much for me. I don't have Bad Batch available to me. I know I'm failing in life. So this team right here is the answer for my Qui-Gon, is the answer for my SLKR if I have to, and just an overall solid team. I can break it off, give other Jedi elsewhere, and it's still a very, very, very strong team on offense. Next up, we got Mandos. I mean, not Mandos, Bounty Hunters. Bounty Hunters, I do keep on offense, only for the fact that they're super versatile. Like I was mentioning earlier, if they do not have the JMK team spec'd out correctly, you can go in there with the 2-shot. And with the Aura lead, even though my Aura is only a G11, I did have her at G10 and she was still putting in work. Same thing with my Grief and Mando. Those are recent G13s for me this season, but for the majority of last season, they were G12 and still solid squad, especially this Fennec team right here. This Fennec team, even with G12s, was able to take out some Lord Vader. So I was really happy with that. Now that they're a little more thick, hopefully I recover a little bit better banners. I want to eventually get Bosk up there as well. That way he helps with that. But this is another solid team, takes out the GL. Got to keep it on offense. All right, next up is going to be my EP squad. The reason EP is not on defense is obviously I don't have a Star Killer. If Star Killer was in my roster, Star Killer Amara, we put him on defense. I might take him on offense depending on the matchup. But another reason why I wouldn't put this on defense, just because my Mara isn't at 7-star. As of the recording, I'm at 89 out of 100. I think I might be able to push her to 7 stars before lock. We'll see. If I do, it's going to provide me a little bit of flexibility, but honestly, I think I'm probably just going to keep it on offense because it's such a tool and really just allows me to get burned through a lot of teams and run that train on them. All right, and next up, we got the Steamrollers themselves, the Imperial Troopers. Imperial Troopers, solid team right here. You take out a lot of stuff. Long as you have some decent speed. I think mine are 350, 330, and then the rest of them are slowly dwindle down just because they create their little TM train, almost the same as the EP Invader Squad. But obviously we all know theirs is a lot better and can really just jack up people. All right, next up I like for offense is CLS. I know some people like putting on defense, but man, I don't know how many times I told you that I've put CLS on defense and I'm like, man, I needed CLS for gas. I needed CLS for this squad. It's just a solid team to have. It's one of those squads where you can just place him anywhere and he's most likely going to take out that squad. And he's got some GL potential too if they end up throwing a Bastila with JML. Even the cleanup squads on SLKRs, really solid team to have in your offensive tool set. And one of the sleepers, and then that's why I put it right there, do not sleep on GG. I know a lot of people have been doing it, but taking GG on offense, but I'm one of them that has been doing it. And honestly, this guy is just an absolute monster. Takes out GLs, we're talking about C, we're talking about JML, and solid JML squads too, he's able to take out. One thing that I like doing on my GG, a little bit different than some, is I have a potency cross. This potency cross isn't the best, doesn't have a lot of health on it. I do eventually need a better one, but potency is the way. Those target lots start landing on the field and it's a wrap. Combine that with a pretty fast B1 and B2, you're going to be hitting those target locks and he's going to start running his own little train right here. It's funny how you notice little trends. Offensively, I love TM trains. We're talking about CLS. We're talking about GG. Marmafa could be even one of them as well, but I do have her in the flex spot. A little bit of spoilers, but that's something that I really covet on the offensive end. Able to take multiple turns before the enemy does. All right, next up, new addition to the lineup. I'm really excited for this one. It's going to be Wampa, and Wampa I'm seeing is going to be in the same category as GG for me, where GG I can hold him for the back. If I don't have to use him in that front bottom zone, I am in good shape of full clearing my opponent, just because he's so versatile, takes out so many squads that I know I can plan for other squads and then leave it for GG for last. And Wampa is going to be in that same situation for me, looking for those items, looking for those GG squads on defense and all sorts of other teams. He's going to be an absolute monster for me, and hopefully he does work. Same thing with my Qui-Gon and Anakin. They're going to be in that same situation. They're going to be in there, hopefully not being used in that front bottom zone and being used in either in the back or the top zone to get me that full clear, just because they are so versatile as well. And that's the one thing I like about offense, and my offense in particular, is trying to be as versatile as possible and really just tailor-made to the opponent. I usually keep these ones for offense, but I'm not afraid to throw either Qui-Gon on defense, GG, if I don't find a way that I'm going to be using them on offense. We got the Sister Act. We got the Night Sisters themselves as the next team. Night Sisters, a couple of them not as high gear as I wish they were, but we got the solid ones. We got Ventress, obviously from the gas event. Daka, MVP of this squad, just brings them back left and right, especially against those GG squads. Daka is a monster. Mix that with Night Sister, and Night Sister, I gotta say, I really enjoy having her at G12 just because she dies so much that she really just helps just be the engine to the squad, allowing Daka to really wrap up her health and just being an overall nuisance to the other team. And then Mother Talzin, she's a sleeper relic, in my opinion, just because of the plague. She just hits so hard when she's that relic, and it's just a monster. All right, these are going to be my cleanup squads.
Let's clean this up. Aye.
I rarely use them. This one's gonna be Bad Batch. Bad Batch, I can't wait. I'm telling you, I cannot wait until Bad Batch is finally usable on my account. That's gonna be a real blessing going against some of these guys that are 2 million GP higher than me. And then we got Geos, the Geo dudes. My Geo dudes suck. Bottom line, there's no sugarcoating it at all. I wish I had better Geonosians. My spy definitely needs to get a little bumped up, but it's overall a solid cleanup squad. And same thing with my Ewoks. Ewoks, I love a solo GG just in case my Night Sisters don't get the job done, or another team that I can really just kind of chew down. They're really good at that. They got their own little TM system as well, with Elder taking basics, and really helps out. All right, so now the main event. It's gonna be my flex teams. C's been an MVP on defense for me this last season. I don't know if I'm going to continue that just because C is so valuable on offense as well, but this gives me the option. You can see right there, I got the two options. If I take them on offense, C Watt, can't go wrong. That's the duo of death right there. They go on the team, you know it's going to be a problem. Then you have C Malik. C Malik replaces Watt with Malik, and you got a defensive squad right there. It eliminates some of these counters like GG, even for say Maul. Maul cannot really take out a C with Malik on the squad. Start laying out those spears and you're gonna have a bad day. C's gonna run all over you, get to the ult, and just eliminate half your team. All right, and in the situations where I do take C for offense, I really like putting this team down for defense because my opponent never knows.
We're looking to spice things up.
I like putting that Darth Revan squad up front and letting them know, hey, Malik's not there, Malik's back there with something. And it's up to you to make that choice if you want to save something. C might be back there, or it might be this Darth Traya squad. Both of them are pretty deadly. Obviously, the C team's a little bit heavier, but it allows me to get into my opponent's head, and hopefully they try to be cheap on some of these other squads and they end up dropping a battle. And that's really the goal right here. If I put Malik up there, he knows he's not on defense. If I take it off and put this Traya squad, I leave that little bit of mystery that honestly has won me a couple battles because of drop battles in that front zone trying to be cheap. All right, next up we got Bam and the homies. So we got Bam, we got Boba, Scion of Django, we have Quill and IG-11 and Zalbar. I really like this squad. I got two tanks right there. Zalbar provides me with another AoE, and Scion of Django, if he gets those crits on his AoE, can be a problem. He can start soloing my Bam's Whistling Birds and really setting us apart. I recently made additions or changes to the team. Quill was super duper fast. He was about 369. Brought him down to 356 just because I had other speed priorities that I needed to change on my roster. And then Bam I actually brought up. I kept him super offensive, but he's at 281 now, and he's at 9,700 damage, and he's only at R5. Remind you, only at R5. If I had him on R7, he's easily past that 10k mark, and he's going to be even more of a problem. Eventually, I just have it for the ship. I like having Cad Bane go before my Bam in that mirror match and a couple other battles as well. And then we have IG, I believe he's 1 speed faster than my Bam. The reason I do this is if, for instance, if I take this team for defense and they pick CLS, for instance, on this team, they're obviously going to try to go for my Bam squad or my Bam and stun him. But by having IG go first, he's going to cleanse Bam, and then Bam's going to instantly go, because he's only 1 speed slower than IG-11, and get into his Whistling Bird stance, and it's night for the other team. Maybe. But most likely it's night. Yeah, he packs a big, heavy punch. All right, next up is going to be a variant of that squad. It's with the Django Lead. That plus 30 on them, disgusting. All I do is take out Zalbar, place Mando, and in this situation, it just means that the next team over, I'm most likely taking it for offense. I can get away with not having Django on the squad and using something else. But this team is solid. You saw how fast my Quill is. Add another plus 30, it's going to be a problem.
I have spoken.
All right, next up we have Maul. Maul, and I have him under the true owner of the Darksaber, is an absolute monster of a squad, especially if you have Droideka in there. Droideka is really good with Django, but if I had to take him off, it is what it is. Droideka's still in there to provide him Maul with that bonus turn because of Frenzy. I have him around 255. 54. So he is pretty fast. I think he's around that 370 range. So he's going to go faster than the majority of teams out there. Allow Maul to trigger that Frenzy, do his AoE, trigger Canderous. He's going to do his AoE. Maul gets triggered again, and they just start laying down the pain with 5 stacks. It's an absolute nasty team, and Droideka is really the linchpin for this one. Django's optional. Django's nice because when he does assist, Droideka has a chance to assist as well. Really nasty team. All right, next up, we're going to be talking about the First Order. So the First Order, I got a couple variants for you guys. Obviously, we got the OG squad right here. This team I throw on defense, it's going to be a problem. He's running some tenacity. I just recently changed my Supreme Leader Kylo mods. You're gonna see right here. So he's 165k health, and
here comes the thick boy,
and 581 speed. So he's going to be extremely nasty and durable. So I'm really excited to see what he does on the defensive end for me this season when I do place him, because it was funny. A lot of times I did place him on defense just because either my opponent didn't have Lord Vader, and now with the emergence of bounty hunters and my ability to use that counter, I have more chances of putting him on defense and hopefully get some holds on some of these Revan JKL counters that a lot of people have been favoriting. And then next up for First Order, we got the leftover Slkr Squad. It's not the best team in the world, but it is a problem. Because sometimes, especially the way I have my Slkr built, he's not offensive anymore, so he can do the poke on Revan and not get the kill. And if that happens, it's a wrap for the Jedi Knight Revan and JKL, the counter. They're going to get run over. They don't get that bonus turn. Jedi Knight Luke can't give the turn to JKL, stun the whole team, and the First Order just runs over the other squad. And then not only that, we do have a lot of turns given to Slkr, so we do have the chance to get into ultimate pretty quick, and then we also have some TM as well when it comes to Phasma, and that 50% is pretty nice. All right, and the other team that I like placing on defense a lot of times, but I will take it to offense depending on the situation, it's going to be First Order. First Order is really nice with this crew lead, Sith Trooper. They're obviously going to have to use something on it. It's not the best squad in the world, but it's one of those squads after you used a couple heavy hitters, then you have to turn your attention to this. You're like, man, do I have enough to clear this? And that's what basically the squad's there for. It's that last couple of teams that's really going to stretch your roster for my opponent. And also, speaking of Slkr, I know we touched on it on defensive, but offensively, it's really nice taking out those Vader squads, combine that with the Night Sisters, or depending on the Vader squad too, I can go straight First Order and take out Lord Vader as well. I did that a couple times last season too. It was really nice. All right, next up we have JML. JML, one of the most versatile offensive threats out there. JML is super nice. I really enjoy him on the offensive end. I usually lean for him to go offensive just because I can pick and choose the Jedi depending on the situation, and it really just opens up a lot for me. But I do have times where I like placing him on defense, and those times are really just, I know I can get away with not using him on the offensive end, and it just causes my opponent to have some problems. Yes, they can GG this squad. Yes, they can take out some other things, but they're still going to have to make those choices, and there's still RNG in that. So it's one of those flex squads for me, but with a heavy emphasis on offense. All right, next we got this Traya squad. Traya right here has been, obviously you guys already saw that Malik situation, but we also leave her for offense. Probably with this squad, can try to take out some dashes and some other things as well. Obviously, I haven't named Bug Spray, take out some of those Geos, especially at Relics. Embarrass has been a really nice 4th addition to this squad. I do need to take my Nihilus up to Relics, hopefully soon. As soon as I'm done with the Star Killer situation, we're going to deal with Nihilus, get him to Relics, and then that's going to make him a beefy boy, especially for some of those dash squads that can be really disgusting on defense. All right, next up, we got Rebel Force. We got Mon Mothma herself, Big Mama. And I gotta say, this team has been nasty on both ends of the floor for me. I had her on offense for the longest, just because my Kyle was not at 7 stars, and it worked perfectly for me. The ability to go first with Kyle and then the rest of the team manipulating that TM just takes out a lot of squads. We're talking about Night Sisters, we're talking about Newt squads. A lot of these teams that you're going to end up seeing on the defensive end, they can take out pretty handily on offense and give you about 65 banners doing it too. So really solid offense team. For me now, I'm most likely going to take her on defense, just because I'm going to show you right here. My Kyle is at 287, so that's going to put him over 400 speed. I think it's right there on that threshold, and he's also offensive modded. I do want to get his relics up. I don't know if I'm going to be able to before lock, but if I can get him to R5, I'm going to be really happy. He's going to be that much stronger, especially when he gets those 10 stacks on him. This dude's going to just blow people away. Really solid team. And eventually I need Powell up there too, just for that extra speed, and he's only 1 piece away. Just blame Starkiller. That's why I don't have it. All right, next up, we got Clones and Bros. We got the 501st with Gas. This team has been another one of those teams that I've switched in between, back and forth on defensive and offense, just depending on the situation. A lot of times, if I'm going to go for the 2-shot on JMK, it's going to go on offense, just because I need it to clean up that cat list JMK. Or other situations where I needed him to go on offense. But a lot of times, if I'm not going to do that, put him on defense. Solid defensive team. He's a real thick. He's got some offense. One thing I do like changing on my 501st, I don't know if a lot of you guys do this, but I put all potency on my Echo, just because a lot of times they're going to use droids against you. I like stunning them, especially because they use CLS. There's 2 droids on the squad. You got CLS, or Trupio, and you have C3PO. You're going to stun both. That's going to be a really big help for you to get a hold, and it's paid off some dividends. I've gotten some holds on some CLSs before. And then same thing with Rex. You got to invest the mods. I got them above 310. That slows off a couple counters as well. It's just you're playing defense on defense. All right, and next up we got Iden. Iden's one of those teams, like I mentioned on my Omicron ranking video. If they don't got Wampa Omicron, I'm throwing this on defense ASAP. This is one of the best defensive teams out there. But if they got Wampa, you come here for offense, girl, and we're going to take out something. Really good offensive team too. Not a lot of information about it. Can't wait for people to take this on the offense a little bit more and see the true capability of this squad. It's really nice though. Enjoy the squad a lot. All right, lastly, we got this Dash Squad, and this Dash Squad got me 2 wins in the last week of GAC. I really like this squad. Boba Fett in there with Dengar, you were getting those AoEs, you had those chances of crits, and then in there you got your Bandor, got them all health modded, no protection whatsoever. Remember that. If you got that man with a little bit of protection, take it off. You want all health on him. It's going to be super nice for you. And then we got L3. L3 is super nice too. Provides that pre-taunt, that limited protection, and she's just a super solid tank. I eventually need to get her relics up to at least R5. She is well deserving of that. And yeah, so that's going to be my flex squads, my defensive and my offensive. It honestly, it all depends on the opponent. If the opponent goes heavy offense, I'm throwing heavy GLs at you. If you go a mixture of heavy defense, I'm going to try to use as much off meta as I can and throw as much GLs as I can. I'm in a situation where I'm running into 2 people with 2 million GP higher than me, 1 million GP. I'm only at 7.2, as you guys can see right there. These people I'm fighting are at 9 million, 8 million. So I need to be able to do off meta counters. And that's what I really recommend for everybody. Learn your off meta counters. Be willing to take a little bit of risk. Because honestly, that's the only way you're going to be able to punch up on some of these guys. But all right, guys, that's going to be my offensive and defensive teams for this upcoming GAC. We'll be back next season for 3v3 if they announce it, which I think they will. But all right, guys, have a good one, and it's been real. Peace.